All right, everyone, today we're going to talk about modal verbs, and we will focus especially on two very important ones, should and must. These are very common in everyday English, and they help you express ideas like advice, obligation, and rules. First, let's remember what modal verbs are. Modal verbs are special auxiliary verbs that we use with another verb. For example, in the sentence you should rest, the main verb is rest and should is the modal verb. We don't add s or ed to modal verbs, and we always use the base form of the verb after them. So we say she should go, not she should goes. Modal verbs can express many different ideas. For example, can is used for ability, like I can swim. We can also use can or may for permission, like can I leave, or may I ask a question. But today we are going to focus on should, which we use for advice, and must, which we use for strong obligation. Let's start with should. We use should when we want to give advice or recommendations. It's similar to saying it is a good idea to do something. For example, you should eat more vegetables, or you should go to bed earlier. This is not a rule, it's just helpful advice. In a health context, we can say things like, if you have a fever, you should take a pill, or you should visit a pharmacy if you feel ill. We can also use the negative form shouldn't to give negative advice. For example, you shouldn't smoke, or you shouldn't work too much if you feel tired. It means it is not a good idea. Now let's look at must. This modal verb is stronger. We use must when something is necessary or very important. It expresses obligation. For example, you must obey the law, or you must wear a bandage if you have a serious cut. In health and fitness, a doctor might say, you must take this medicine every day, or you must rest after the operation. These are not suggestions, they are important instructions. The negative form, mustn't, is also very important. It means something is prohibited, so it is not allowed. For example, you mustn't smoke inside the hospital, or you mustn't ignore a serious illness. Notice that mustn't is very strong. It's not advice, it's a rule. Let's compare should and must more clearly. If I say you should exercise, I am giving advice. It's a good idea for your health and your body. But if I say you must exercise, it sounds much stronger, like a doctor's order or a strict rule. Another example, you should take aspirin if you have a headache, is just a suggestion, but you must take this medicine means it is necessary. We can also use these modal verbs when talking about different parts of the body or health problems. For example, if your throat hurts, you should drink warm tea, or if you have a serious disease, you must follow the doctor's prescription. You can say you shouldn't ignore pain in your chest because it might be something serious like a heart attack. Remember also that modal verbs are followed directly by the base verb, without to. So we say, you should rest, not you should to rest. This is a very common mistake, so be careful. So, to finish, think of it like this. Should is for advice and recommendations, something helpful but not obligatory. Must is for strong obligation, something necessary or required. And mustn't means prohibition, something you are not allowed to do. If you practice using these in real-life situations, especially with topics like health and daily routines, they will become much easier and more natural for you.